and welcome to Culture here on I-24 News. I'm Oded Grober, happy to be here. As always, today on the show, we'll hear about an English language performing arts organization in Tel Aviv. An artist photographs children at play. And we'll talk about the celebrations for Frank Sinatra's 100th birthday. The Stage is an English language performing arts organization in Tel Aviv that aims to create a community through workshops, meetups, and professional productions. Here to tell us all about it is the Stage's co-founder and CEO, Maya Hagoel. Thanks for being here, Maya.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us about this thing, The Stage. What's it about?
This thing, The Stage, started about a year ago from a real need. Actually came from me and the 10 other people that I met up for brunch this one day. And we all wanted to get involved in some kind of performing arts, but we all would want to do it in English. And in Tel Aviv, actually, there really isn't a place where you can get involved unless you're a uber professional. Even if you're a professional, there aren't really English-speaking performing arts.
And this is a group of expats, theater people who happen to be here? What?
It's a little bit of everything. I mean, I come from a business background and I love the arts. We have people who come from, government and politics. And we also have people who studied dance, studied acting, and studied any kind of, not necessarily in art.
Okay, and how did you all get together?
We all met through some of us didn't know each other, and we just kind of brought a friend that we thought might be interested, and we sat around a table and said, hey, let's see if there's demand out there. And we just had a meetup, and we invited, we set up something on Facebook, and we had like over 40 or 50 people come out, and they said, yeah, we want to do stuff. Let's put on a production. And so we said, okay, wait a second, hold on.
You make it sound too easy. It couldn't have been that easy.
It wasn't that easy, but, the second that we realized that there were people out there that were looking for this, and they really wanted to put on a production, we said, okay, let's try to do this. And our first production was the Vagina Monologues back in February 2014. And we chose to do that because we were able to get the rights for free because it's a charitable cause.
I see.
So we put it on for 3 nights, and we sold out 2 weeks before the performance. And we were able to donate proceeds of like 15,000 shekels to the Rape Crisis Center in Tel Aviv.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So after that, we realized we have something to work with. And we moved forward with our next production, which was the One Act Festival, where we did 6 plays. And why did we choose to do this? We wanted to get more people involved. People that maybe wanted to try directing, people that maybe never been on stage. And we had 6 plays. Each had their own cast, each had their own director, each had their own producer. And each also had assistant directors and producers from people that they could learn from. And we actually put it on the week of Tzuk and we were able to sell out. We were able to sell out the last 2 performances. We worked with some of our actors being called into Miluim, and it was really, everyone was a volunteer, and everyone put the show, and we kept on saying the show must go on, and it was great.
Who's the audience? Are there enough people from the States, from English-speaking countries to be here and attend these performances?
The audience is anyone that feels comfortable seeing something in English or working in English. We also have workshops, and we also have community meetups, which could be like our recent storytelling slam, which, there are Israelis that are totally integrated into not just our performances, they're also backstage, they're also running events, but they feel comfortable doing stuff in English, or maybe they want to, work on their English, or they're trying to get more experience in a performing art.
That's great, and it's all volunteer work, if I get it right.
We're all volunteers, including myself. Soon we will be looking for funding. We're currently working on, how to set that all up and the best way to move it forward. But we've been able to create an organization. This is, I guess, where my business background comes in, where we have 5 different departments. And we actually, we have proper marketing because we need to sell our shows. We have a production department. We have an arts department that goes through proposals. So we get proposals that come in through everybody.
So there's a strong, I get the sense that there's a strong community aspect to this as well. It's not just about the arts.
Right. I mean, if basically anything that we do comes from an idea of somebody in the community. You know, we do get a lot of ideas and a lot of different types of productions, whether it's...
So how do you decide what productions to put on? Because obviously there are plenty of ideas, plenty of responsibility, but somebody has to say eventually, okay, we're doing this, not that.
Yes, we receive, I would say, at least 1 to 2 ideas a week, whether it's a full-on production, and we read them, we go through them, we think about all aspects of it, whether it will be a good focus for our audience, whether we will be able to sell the performance from a marketing perspective, whether we can get people involved, whether it's something that we can actually put on financially also, because at the end of the day, yes, we're all volunteers, but we need to cover our expenses.
Right.
And you know, every step forward, we kind of take on a new task. Our latest task was trying to do something musical. We put on a show called Miscast. We did that in December, and it was really great. It was a Broadway musical review, and everyone that played the part was miscast. So it might have been a woman playing a man, or an old person playing a young 16-year-old girl. And we're actually doing it again because it was a hit. So that's going to be coming up in April.
That's great.
And we also do, you know, workshops and our community meetups.
I wanted to ask about that. What happens there?
So workshops is a way for people to, you know, hone in on their skills, maybe skills that they don't have or skills that they want to learn. So we have acting workshops, we have musical theater, we also have improvisation, which is a big hit. You know, it was sold out like 3 weeks before the workshop actually started. And we've already had 3 semesters of workshops. So we are always looking
new skills.
Yeah, we're looking for new stuff to do all the time, and we're just listening to our audience, what they're looking for.
That's great. So, other than Miscast, what's coming up soon?
So we have right now in March a play called Hauptmann, produced and directed by an Ola that just moved here about 6 months ago. It's a play that takes place on it's actual events. It's about the murder of the Limburg baby, if most of you know that story in American history. And it's 7 actors playing 26 parts, all in one show. It's a drama, but it's quite interesting.
And there's even an idea to put Hanoch Levin put up Hanoch Levin play in English. That must be a challenge. Good luck with that and with this whole thing. Thanks so much for coming in today.
Thank you.
Moving on now, Kenyan-born photographer James Millison already delved into the world of children with his previous works. For his new exhibition, he photographed children at play in their school playgrounds. The result displays a wide array of playgrounds and many kinds of play. Daniel Campos has more.
And the project came about after I was asked to come up with an idea for a children's charity.
James Mollison was born in Kenya in 1973. His work has gained praise around the world. He has been featured in the New York Times and also as a lecturer in TEDx San Francisco. Among his most famous essays are James and Other Apes, which analyze the facial similarities between humans and apes, using the static passport photograph as the format of the portrait. In 2008, he published The Disciples, focusing on die-hard followers from a variety of musical acts. In 2010, his essay Where Children Sleep was a big hit on social media. The sensitivity in his portrayal of children from different ethnic, economic, and social backgrounds in their bedrooms was something that millions around the world were able to relate to. Now it's time for Playground, his latest book and exhibit. In this ambitious project, Mollison photographed children at play in their school playgrounds, inspired by memories of his own childhood and interested in how we all learn to negotiate relationships and our place in the world through play. The images are not staged. The playground is not a well-controlled environment, and anything can happen. Behind the lens and from a safe distance, he has no control over the actions children will take. Fighting, bullying, sharing, arguing, or playing. By looking carefully into each frame, you will get an idea of the difference between children and their behavior. He also brings us insight into multiracial relationships, religious schools, girls' schools, boys' schools, schools for deaf and blind children, usually due to resource inequality between developed and developing countries. But most of the time in one same country, 2 realities exist. We can witness this in his images from Gujarat, India, and the difference between private and public schools. And also in the UK, we can see the ethnic and cultural differences between playgrounds in different cities. In his native homeland of Kenya, Children have fun in the slums, while in the countryside, they are running and jumping in open natural spaces with no need for swings and slides. His images of the Middle East are no less fascinating. Israeli children in Beitar Illit settlement play surrounded by security fences, while children in the West Bank city of Bethlehem play surrounded by giant security walls. His images from the coastal city of Gaza also give us an interesting perspective of children's play dynamics in crowded spaces. From the elegant city of Venice to the slums of Sierra Leone, Mollison provides access for viewers of all ages to issues of global diversity and inequality. Playground is one more success for the photographer whose name resonates with empathy, intimacy, and neutrality, capable of raising serial social and environmental themes without manipulations.
In a moment, we'll hear about the centennial celebrations for the chairman of the board, but first, our cultural recommendation for the day.
The Bible Lands Museum of Jerusalem tells the story of the Jewish exiles in Babylon, tracing the long journey of the Hebrews between 586 and 536 BC. With over 100 ancient clay tablets found in southern Iraq, where once stood the village of Al-Yahudu, this display enables the public to discover a missing part of the history of the Jewish people. With a variety of models, illustrations, and other multimedia resources that enrich the exhibition, you will be able to trace the life of the Jewish exiles in Babylon for more than 2,500 years.
And now Gabi Tartakovsky is in the studio to talk about his mental role model, I'd say.
You're too kind. All blue eyes, Frank Sinatra. We're about to begin celebrating his centennial. Now, Sinatra was actually born in mid-December, but the actual commemoration begins tomorrow.
How come?
Because there's a lot to discuss and there's a lot to celebrate when it comes to Sinatra. Sinatra, it's a bit embarrassing to introduce the man, but I will do so anyway. He was basically the ultimate entertainer, basically the voice behind the Great American Songbook, the most popular singer up until Elvis Presley came along and shook things up. Now, tomorrow in New York, there's an exhibition opening called Sinatra, an American Icon, which is definitely is. It will be a traveling...
The American Icon, some
yes.
would say.
It will be a traveling exhibition moving across the U.S., sponsored also by the Grammy Museum. Now, these celebrations come as Bob Dylan, another great American icon, released his latest album of Sinatra standards, Shadows in the Night. Now, it's very
different from Sinatra.
It's very different because Sinatra is like a textbook example of how you should sing.
How to perform, exactly.
And how to perform.
And Dylan is like the total opposite.
Is total opposite. He took his 30-string arrangements and toned it down completely. But that's also a tip of the hat to Sinatra. Now, in April next month, HBO will air a 4-hour documentary about Sinatra, Sinatra All or Nothing at All. Many unseen footage will be shown. It will specifically involve his 1971 retirement concert in Los Angeles. He didn't retire. He came back 2 years later, said, you know,
he was ahead of his time in that sense.
Ahead of his time in many, many ways. He also founded his own record label, Reprise Records, which was very successful. He also paved the way for duets and veteran comebacks via duets. He won a Grammy for his duet with Bono, singing his classic "I've Got You Under My Skin." So Tony Bennett and Tom Jones already copied
was also
Sinatra's.
ahead of his time involving arts and entertainment and politics a little bit, having a hand in
definitely campaigned for Kennedy, and there was a lot of going on there during Sinatra's Vegas years.
Yeah.
Now, Sinatra is really a cultural icon which you can't really escape in American mythology. And there's also an app by the Sinatra estate, recently marketed for the centennial, which also includes immediate exposure to many of his audio recordings.
Okay, and so it just exposes you to his stuff. There's no, like, can you sing with the Sinatra
No,
or something like that?
it's not a karaoke app, but
That's something that.
But you can access interviews and unseen footage, and it's really a great means to expose Sinatra to the next younger generation.
Which is definitely needs to happen. We're doing our part. Gabi, you definitely did your part. What are you going to sing for us from Sinatra's songbook?
It was a very good year.
Go ahead.
When I was 17.
Wow, Gabi, great work. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
That's it from us for today. I hope you enjoyed our show and Gabi's singing. We'll be back tomorrow for some more, so please join us again.